Hello and welcome to Property Question Time with me, Gemma Forte. This is where you get to ask your property-related questions to my panel of industry experts. So let's introduce them straight away. First up, we've got Paul Payne. Now, Paul is the Sales and Marketing Director of MASA International. Welcome along. And next up, we've got the lovely Chelsea Wright, investor and developer of Wright Developments. And last but not least, we've got Mr. Paul Higgs, the Director of the Millbank Group, the Chief Exec no less. And of course, over the years, you've done training, you've done developing, you've done chartered surveying, you've done it all. Okay, so let's start with a question for you, Paul, if I may. Now, your area of expertise is all in Spain, isn't it? Property in Spain.
That's right, yes.
So the first question is very relevant for you because it is this. I'm looking to purchase a 50-year-old villa in Spain that's had an extension done and a pool installed many years ago, but that's not reflected on the title deeds today. The owner is willing to get the deeds updated at her cost, and we're talking about signing a contract with a 3-month period to closing that. Is this feasible for the owner to get the deeds updated within 3 months? And how easy or difficult is it to get title deeds updated with previous changes done in Spain? Obviously a bit of nerves there.
Yeah, and understandably so, because it's not terribly straightforward and very hard for me to give a specific timeline how long that would take. But what the owner, the current owner of the property, would need to undertake is to get an architect to draw up the plans for the house and make. Essentially, you're getting planning application all over again for it to go onto the title deed. So it depends on exactly what's been built, how it's been built, whether it meets standards, exactly what's happened to this house will determine on whether it can be legalised is what we're talking about, because if a property's been extended without notification to the local town hall, put a pool in. A pool is more straightforward to do, but it will cost the owner quite a bit of money to do this.
Yeah, I wonder if it was that owner that's done the work, because if they have, they've probably just cut quite a lot of corners. I can't understand why.
Yeah, I mean, there's a very, very important piece of paperwork called a habitation certificate, which the onus is on the seller of the property to provide this. And this is a document that says the house that we're talking about is fully legal, is all on the title deeds, all taxes are up to date and is okay.
Okay.
And that must be present. So the onus is on the seller to obtain this. These certificates last for 10 years and need replacing in the event of a sale.
Okay.
So for the buyer, certainly don't part with any money at this stage at all. Make sure you've got a good lawyer on board and don't pursue it any further until you and your lawyer have a valid and up-to-date habitation certificate. Once you have that, you're fine to go ahead and to move in.
The buyer's, I mean, the seller, sorry, is probably panicking a bit, because any buyer, this is going to come up and be an issue, isn't it? So it's a bit foolhardy not to have done the planning in the first place.
Absolutely, and you may find that the time this is going to take, and maybe the seller will realise the money it's going to cost them, that there may be better solutions out there that are already fine and have all the right paperwork. Okay. So you can save a lot of time and the seller.
Stress.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's not a straightforward one, and not one I'd be massively keen to undertake.
Okay, all right, thank you. Right, Chelsea, one for you. This person says, I'm a first-time buyer who's looking to invest in properties that can bring in the most profits. Should I go for London or somewhere in the Midlands or up north to start myself off? I think that's quite an interesting question, actually, because obviously property prices vary so widely, and I know they haven't given any indication of budget and all of that, so let's just assume the world's their oyster then.
So I think it'll come down to what kind of profits they want. So if they're wanting to make a wage, a living, so we'd be looking to rent the property, and then they'd need to look at their yield, which that's the return on their investment. Obviously Cumbria I know very well, and we have an above average yield there, so it's a good area to invest, I think so anyway. But any area that they go for, they need to know the area and know the tenants that they're going to deal with. So if they're going to go near a university, for example, and they want to do like a student share, there is a lot more money to be made from that, but there's a lot more work that needs to go into it as well, as opposed to putting a family in a 3-bed house.
Right.
So I think they need to decide what kind of investor they want to be.
Yeah.
And there's nothing stopping them that if they maybe do it gradually now, they get a nice easy rent and they could be saving money that they then go into developing a little bit more in the future. If they know the area, so ideally they can afford to buy where they are, I think they'll be naturally more successful, especially initially when they're starting out.
Okay, so just having an idea of your area, your transport links, the kind of people
that you want to deal with as well, because some tenants, so for example in Cumbria, yeah, there might be a house that's got a higher yield, but maybe you're going to have more problematic tenants, or maybe voids where it won't be let. So it's not always, wow, that's a really high yield, this is going to be really good. So they definitely need to do their investment carefully and read up on it. Ideally buy in their area, I would say, first time.
All right, good advice. Everybody's nodding away there. Right, Paul, one for you. This person says, I live in London and I need a bigger property to accommodate me, my husband, 2 children and mother-in-law. So is it a good idea to buy a property with a garage and convert it into a room and ensuite for my mother-in-law? How much will it cost roughly, and would we need planning permission? She wants to put a mother-in-law in the garage, basically. So.
That's always a good idea. So, as always, it depends. So, you converting a garage to a habitable room, which is
I
basically...
suppose what she wants is like separate living accommodation, but yet being with the family. So a bit of privacy for everybody.
Yeah, I think the crux of the question, the key bit really, is can you turn a garage into a room
somewhere livable
without needing planning permission? And the answer is not really, most of the time.
Right.
So there are various restrictions. You definitely can't do it if it's a conservation area. You definitely can't do it if it's what's called an Article 4 area, where you've had your permitted development rights taken away. You definitely can't do it if you are losing parking spaces. At the end of the day, it's a garage, yeah? It's obviously built for parking. Now, you know, by definition, if you're converting it to a habitable room, you're losing the parking space. So that may or may not be a problem, depending on exactly where you are. So I think lots of people think you can just do it, i.e. convert garages to rooms, and you can't just do it. Now and then, there might be a few exceptions. Most of the time, you're going to need planning permission or at least to jump through a few hoops.
Yeah, I think what it sounds like is that mother-in-law, obviously at this time, needs to come and live with them, but maybe buying a house with another bedroom is such a leap up financially, isn't it? The minute you go from a 3-bed to a 4-bed, 4-bed to 5-bed. So I guess it's trying to find a solution.
It is. I mean, it'll be easy. It would probably be easier planning permission wise to do a loft somewhere.
Yeah.
It'd probably be a bit more expensive.
Yeah.
But this is the thing, you see. Most of the time, look, it's not an uncommon problem. Yeah. Everyone's squeezed for space. Most people are struggling to buy stuff or rent stuff, even especially in London. It's a very expensive place. So the common question is, okay, how and where can I get a bit of cheap, easy space?
Yeah.
And the answer is, well, not really anywhere easly, because everyone's trying to do the same thing. So, you know, to find somewhere where you can squeeze some additional space out where that hasn't already been priced in.
Yeah. London, everyone's gone to up, down,
well, exactly.
out. There comes a limit.
Exactly. What I would say, the best thing might be to just look very, very carefully at the internal layouts of different types of properties to see how you might be able to chop them about a little bit.
You might want it self-contained.
Well, yeah, this is the thing.
Okay. Well, some food for thought there. I think the problem with that one is there's no obvious answer, but keep your options open. Okay, golden nugget time. I'm going to look at you, Paul.
Okay.
Paul Payne. Have you got one for us?
Well, yes, I have. One question that seems to be hot on everyone's lips at the moment are exchange rates when you're buying a property. Not just in Spain, but I think you'd apply this to anywhere overseas. Exchange rates are quite volatile at the moment. You know, the pound's gone through stages of being weak and it's picked up again. And how can a potential buyer make sure they're getting the best deal and reduce the risk of getting a bad deal? And I would suggest getting in touch with one of the specialist currency brokers, of which there are many good ones around, rather than your high street bank.
Right.
A lot of people make a transfer to Spain or France, wherever they need to buy a property, and use their own bank. And generally, high street banks give a much poorer rate. They take a much bigger margin.
Right.
And if you're just talking about a couple of €100 to go on holiday for a few days, this is fairly very, very small difference. When it's maybe a couple of €100,000, it can be the difference of furnishing the whole property.
Right.
So do get in touch with several of the big currency companies and shop around, and they can also offer you all kinds of products such as forward buying currency, which means that you can fix in a rate today if you feel that the rate's good, or you can also set up something where you could say when the rate hits X, automatically buy the amount of euros or whatever currency it is that you need. So speak to the experts with regards to that, and don't leave it to your own high street bank.
Yeah, or the airport. I mean, that would be ridiculous.
Absolutely not. Yeah, the
Right, what
airport
about
even
house?
more so. Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah, you might.
We've all done that on the way to holiday in a rush before. Then you go, no, I should have done this before.
I give this advice, and I've done that many times.
Not with houses. Thank you so much, guys. That is actually it for part 1 of Property Question Time, but join us for more great advice in part 2. Welcome back to Property Question Time with me, Gemma Forte, Paul Payne, Chelsea Wright and Paul Higgs. Now, before the break, we were talking about different areas and where's the best place to develop. It's like we all want a crystal ball. But Paul, I am going to ask you to be a bit psychic. You know, you're a huge developer. Are there any?
I am a bit psychic, actually.
Are you? Oh,
Yeah,
good.
so-
Even better. What are the lottery numbers next week? No, that's another question. Okay, so in terms of good areas to invest in, you know, are there any sort of golden nuggets that you can give us?
I think the thing is, certainly in terms of how I've always done it, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to development, it's if you invest in an area and the price goes up, then great. It's you know, you've had a result. But as a developer, you really need to be focusing on adding and creating value. Okay? That's the key. So, you know, I don't focus on any specific areas. I always focus on the opportunity, you know, the site, the deal, and then think, how can I get the most out of this? Okay?
Right.
So, you know, so I'm not gambling on the market, because at the end of the day, no one knows for sure what's going to happen with the market and what the good areas are. And in fact, what does tend to happen is, you know, most of the obvious places like Crossrail, right? The second Crossrail even starts getting talked about, people are in there straight away, and you know, it's almost like the inflation starts getting built into the price way before it's happened. Yeah. So by the time it has happened, you know, you've just got to historically look at the statistics of what happens to the values. It's done already. Yeah. So my view is, unless you're a long-term investor, you know, I don't really gamble on the market or do things because of where I think the market's going in any particular location.
Yeah.
Development is all about creating and adding value, and that works anywhere.
Okay. All right, that's good. It's kind of slightly interesting, different perspective, I suppose. Yeah. Okay, lovely stuff. Right, back to the questions, and we'll go back to Paul for this one. So someone says they would like to know, where is the best place to buy on the Costa Blanca? They'd like to buy a holiday home, but at the same time rent it out for additional income when they're not using it, which definitely seems sensible, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Okay, it's quite a broad question and quite a personal.
Yeah, the Costa Blanca is quite big, isn't it?
It is, and it's hugely varied. You know,
Right.
you have from the most quaint, typical Spanish villages up to international package holiday resorts like Benidorm, and an awful lot in between. If we were looking at it as purely a box to make money, then the important factors are proximity to the airports, particularly Alicante and Murcia. So to keep under 30-40 minutes from the airport is I think it's a big one. Not to be too far from the sea. I'd say stick within 10-15 minutes maximum drive.
Yeah.
The closer the better. And one which is almost automatic is to be close to golf courses. Golf brings in people to rent properties, particularly out of season.
Okay.
That said, you do well to buy a property that's more than 5 minutes from a golf course anyway. There's plenty of golf courses there. In terms of what's the best place, you've got to ask yourself, well, what do you want to do when you're there? You know, if it's not just a box to make money, what kind of things are you going to enjoy doing? Is the beach important to you? Is historical
Is the kind of
areas?
authenticity of Spain or not?
Or do I just want the comforts of home with sun?
Yeah.
And there's a market for all of those things. I like to have a bit of a blend of all of those things. I like to have access to an old city to wander around.
Also get chips.
Also get the occasional plate of chips. Sticking between the area of Alicante and Murcia, whilst it's still very accessible for international buyers, it's a well-trodden path, but you can still find plenty of authentic Spain.
Yeah.
I would certainly concentrate on these areas.
Yeah.
Places like, just to throw a couple of names out, Torre de la Horadada, which is a really nice little Spanish town where all the properties are in that area are less than 5 minutes walk to the beach.
Lovely,
Kind of ticks a lot of boxes for people. Authentic Spain, nice restaurants, all the amenities, and you can come and go quite easily for the airports are nearby.
Sounds lovely to me. I feel like a holiday. That sounds good. Thank you. Okay, Chelsea, this person says, I'm moving house to be nearer my children's colleges. The house we like is a little bit old and needs renovating. It needs new carpets, bathroom, kitchen, and the garden needs fixing too. It's quite a lot of work. My current house is in a town where the prices are low and so therefore wouldn't cover the new renovation costs, even though my house is newly renovated with a modernised bathroom and kitchen. So I don't know whether to wait and sell my house at a higher price or renovate the house with my current budget of $2,500. It's not going to go a long way, is it?
No, so that sounds like they've already got an offer in on theirs that they're selling.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? And then therefore she knows what she'd be left with to be able to renovate.
And she's already admitted that prices are low, so yeah, she could wait for a higher offer, but it might not come. We don't know how long it would take. If she's moving from a town with lower house prices to an area that prices are maybe higher, she's done a little bit of renovation before, so she's got an idea. Might be worth she just saves and does it as she goes. Hopefully this house is livable.
Yeah.
If you like,
start with whatever your priority is, like probably kitchen or...
Yeah, I mean, that's how most people climb the property ladder.
Yeah.
But, you know, we do it as we go. I mean, she could try and wait, but there's going to be no guarantee for that. And I suppose it comes down to how much does she like this new house.
Yes.
If it's livable, I mean, the 2,500, it might do a small bathroom, depending on the area. But
see, sometimes in life, I think if you take a bit of a risk and just go for it and move, then it will just, everything will eventually fall into place. It might be a few years that it takes everything to get done.
Well, if she wants to leave that town to where the college is, she's probably going to have to do it this way, because if her house isn't going to sell for much more, she's never going to afford one that's just done shoe leaf.
Or just stay and enjoy the peace now that the kids have gone. Another way of looking at it. No, I'd say it sounds like she wants to go and do it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I didn't do my garden for a year after I'd done up my house. It was like a mud pit, and then it took 2 years to do the front of the house. It's the way it goes sometimes, isn't it?
I wouldn't worry about the garden, definitely not.
No,
the kitchen.
The kids are old enough now. My little boy's different, but yeah, her kids probably don't want to play in the garden. Or maybe. Right, Paul, we're on to you now. I shouldn't point. This person says, we currently live in a house which occupies a plot of around 1.5 acres in a small village. Recently, there's been a lot of redevelopment in a neighbouring village, developments of around 10 houses at a time. So if we wanted to do that, what would be the best way to proceed with looking to develop this in a similar way? It's a big project, sort of thing you do, isn't it?
It is. I think just because something similar is happening in nearby villages doesn't at all mean you can do something the same where you are. Yeah, absolutely everything with planning and development is site specific. Okay, so you would need to look at the development plan to see what your area is zoned as, where they currently live. Okay, because it may be in the middle of green belt, which is generally a bit of a non-starter, or certainly very difficult, or it may be closer to the town centre. So short answer is it depends on the site specifics.
Yeah, or have other houses could put in objections? Are they, you know?
It doesn't matter where you are, people will object, right? So I tend not to worry too much about objections. The important thing is you need to understand planning policy and make sure you are ticking the boxes before you start. So they need to get proper planning and advice, yeah? So go and talk to a planning consultant and get an initial view on what are the chances.
It's a lot of land to play around with, isn't it? And there is a need for housing. We all know that.
There is, but of course it's got to be in the right place.
Yeah. And I guess you've got to have a lot of capital to build those houses as well.
Well, the keys is obviously getting planning permission. So that's the thing that adds the massive value. You know, once you've done that, if you've done it right, you know, hopefully that enables you to raise the capital.
Okay,
it's all about getting the best planning.
I got you. Okay, so you might have to pay for that advice, but that's an investment.
You'll definitely have to pay.
Definitely have to pay.
You can obviously
Can't go, excuse me.
There's plenty of crap advice out there. That's free.
Right. Yeah, but no one wants that. Yes. So make a small investment, get the good advice, and everything will fall into place. Right, Chelsea, I think you're the only one not to give us a nugget. So have you got one up your sleeve?
Yes, I suppose one of the things that I see quite a lot, it's probably more where I am up north, lower house prices. It would work a little bit more south as they're going high, but you'll see somebody with a house on the market, let's say at 92,000, and it's not selling. They've, you know, but then they'll quite openly say they want 89, they want 90. And that's where I am, like a first-time buyer's market. And I think it is so important, and your agent, a good agent should give you this advice, is that you look at your Rightmove search brackets for your pricing. Because if you're on at 92, somebody that can only afford 90, you won't even be coming up on their search results.
Ah, that's a good point.
And people think that to get 90, they can't be on at 90.
Yes, I think you're right. I think psychologically, I always think you've got to go a bit higher so people put offers in. But maybe that's the wrong way of looking at it.
Depending on where you are pricing in the market, but for that particular example, I think 92 is a terrible price to go on the market at.
Right, yeah.
And I see them all the time. Well,
so they'd be better off going 89, 90, getting lots of interest, and then
get an asking price.
Yeah.
And that's one thing, a good agent should advise you on that, but they don't. And don't always go with the agent that gives you the highest valuation as well. Do your own research. And look at those search brackets.
Yes, I think that's brilliant advice. And also, I always think, like the old chestnut, that a house is worth what someone will pay for it.
Well,
People
anything
can get
is,
so sort of defensive, almost as if it's an insult that someone's offered them a bit less, and it's like, well,
it's about footfall, isn't it, and getting the people to come and look at your house, and
putting a house on for too much is pretty much the worst thing you can do.
Yes.
Because you just, you know, you alienate your market. People see that it's been on for a long time. They start thinking, well, there's obviously something wrong with it. It's just madness, really.
And also, can you price yourself out of a street, if you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like historically, people can look up now as well. You've got so much more information at your fingertips. I know that when I was looking, you could do searches and see what people have paid. And so, yeah, if something's like hugely over. And I'm not going to name names, but there is one estate agents who always just pluck it from the sky.
That's
much,
every
much
town.
higher.
Every town has one.
There's one particular, you know, thing, and I've really always thought it's interesting, and people just go, "Oh, fantastic!" thinking that that's what they'll get. Yeah,
it's funny. I had a house on. We moved last year, and the valuations were just wild between the estate agents. The top one was a ridiculous amount more. So. Maybe kind of being kind of in that industry. I said, okay, the commission was 2%. But I said, I'd rather pay you 4% and you get the price that you say you're going to get. And of course, at that point, they just shrink and disappear. It's because you know we really have to understand that it's just
it's very
hook
easy
to get you in
to
and
stand there, and then
it's
4 weeks later say, well,
you.
no one's come to see it, so we're just going to put the price down a bit.
And that looks really bad.
Yeah.
And then you attract people like us, investors, and that's why a price reduction, I agree, is just get on at the right price and you'll sell. Everything if you're not getting viewings, it's only coming down to the price.
I've had neighbours up the street, and they're lovely people, but they've had their house on the market, then took it off, then on, then took it off, and then on. And at some point, I'm like, do you want to move or not? You know. But anyway, yes, it's a jungle out there, but thank you for all your fantastic advice. I'm sure that will have helped loads of people. And that's it for this episode of Property Question Time, but do tune in again to another episode for more fabulous advice. And in the meantime, if you want to ask us questions, please do. The web address is allthews.property-tv.co.uk, or you can email us info@property-tv.co.uk. My thanks to Paul Payne, Chelsea Wright and Paul Higgs. Thank you for watching.